This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So today we will be starting our next topic, that is procurement of external services. Okay. Here the topics that we are going to cover, we will see uh, what is the important master data used in procurement of external services, the basic procurement process for external services, service master records and service conditions we will see. Then we will see the structure of purchase order item for services. We will create a purchase order for services. Okay. Then we will see service entry sheet referencing a purchase order. We will cover that. We will see how to add unplanned services during service entry process, that we can see. Then we will see how to accept a service entry sheet and to create the invoice for a service PO. Okay, so these are the topics we will be covering in the procurement of external services. Okay, so what is this external services? Sometimes some companies requires small maintenance work such as replacement of defective fans and fluorescent tubes are to be carried out by external service provider. So in your company, sometimes instead of procuring the materials, sometimes you ask your external suppliers or vendors to do some services, like some fan is not working. Okay, then you ask the vendor to come and do the servicing for that fan. Let's say in your company some machine is not working, you'll ask the vendors to come and do the servicing for that machine. So those kind of things are called external services. Okay, in addition to their own workforce, many firms now employ external service providers to do work of various kinds. Okay, so even though you have your own employees, own people, sometimes you give the work, you ask the work to be done by external people. Okay, this may be due to a number of reasons. For example, their own staff may lack either the capacity or the qualifications to perform certain tasks. So your people may not have the time or leisure to do the work, or they don't have the ability or qualification to do that work. So that kind of scenario, you go for external services, procurement of external services. Okay, so with external services you have a PO for services with good receipt taking place. Here that good receipt is called service entry. The good receipt is called service entry. Okay, so I'll show you. See, in the previous classes we discussed about procurement of stock materials and consumable materials. So there, what is the process flow? If you go to procurement of external stock or consumable materials, what was the process flow? We create a purchase order, we created the purchase order, create purchase order. Okay, and then what we did the goods receipt, okay, and then we did the invoice verification. Okay, so these are the three steps in your normal procurement of stock or consumable materials. Okay, whereas in case of procurement of consumable materials, the process flow is somewhat different. Different means, here in the procurement of external services, you create the purchase order. This remains the same, but only in case of good receipt, here you will do the service entry. You will do the service entry, and after that you will do acceptance. Service entry, acceptance, these two can be done in a single step, or you can do them in a separate step also. So this is the difference. Of course, invoice verification remains the same. Okay, so this is the difference. This already we have seen in previous classes, so this we will see today. Procurement of external services. Okay, So first, before going into the details, going into the process, we need to understand service master record. Okay, so for every service, we will be creating a service master record. Okay, so basically, service master record will contain what service we are going to do. We are going to take from the supplier, its number, okay, and its unit of measure. All those things you will have. Okay, and these service master records can be used in plant maintenance module also, PS module also. Okay, but in our module today we will be discussing service master record. Okay, so the transaction code to see the service master record is AC03. AC03. Okay, so it is AC03. Okay, so we will see the service already existing service masters in the system. Okay, so you go here. Okay, so go to the transaction code AC03. So here you see there are already some service masters are in place. There are already some service masters are there. Okay, so let's say if you see cleaning services, if you double click, you can see about the service. This is activity number, it is description, what type of service category, and its unit of measure. So all that information will be available here. Okay, so you have to create a service master for this procurement of external services. Okay, so to create a new one, what we will do is now we will create a new one. Okay, so we will create a new one. So to create a new service master, what you have to do is in the same transaction, you have to click on this button. You have to click on this button, create new service. Click on that button. Once you click on that button, okay, you will be getting this screen. Okay, you will be getting this screen. Okay, don't give any number as of now. Now give the sub description. Let's say in my company I want my fans to be serviced. Okay, so fan service, put it this fan service, and I'll give the number as 1. Okay, so I want my fans to be serviced. Okay, service category, it's like a general services. Okay, sorry, I removed this. Just 1 minute. No, just 1 minute. Again, I will go to AC03. Okay, click on the button new entries, new create. Okay, give the description, general services, unit of measure. I'll put it as each. Okay, enter. Okay, now enter the service group, material or service group. You can select from the list. Okay, like this is services, right? So for services there will be a material group services. There is a material group 007. Okay, enter. Remaining data also you can enter if you want, but that is not mandatory, it's optional. Now you save this service master record. So I'm saving this. Yes, I saved it. What is the number? 500044. This is my number. So activity number. Okay, so I want, now I'll remove this. Okay, in my company I want my fan servicing to be done. Fan servicing to be done. Okay, so activity number is this one. We created it. Now I'll create one more. Okay, I'll create. Now you can click on this button, create new service, or you can copy from the existing one. Just click on the button, copy. There is a button called copy. Just click on the button, copy. Okay, now it will get copied to the next one. So here I want my machine servicing to be done. Okay, machine service done. Okay, same thing, remaining all same. Enter, done, save it. So like this you will be creating the services. So this is an activity number. Every service master will be identified with a unique number, and this is a number. Okay, so next one is machine servicing, and this is a number. Okay, so this is the service master record. So for every services you have to create a service master record. Okay, so this is what it will contain: service number, its description, service category, and you can maintain some other data Even you can maintain some long text, some information text, all those things you can maintain in the service master record. To create a new one, you have to click on this button, okay, or if you want to change or display, you have to click on this button, okay. So if you want to see the overview tree, this overview, you can see already existing services will be shown here, okay. So this is the service master record, okay. Now once the service master record is created, you can create conditions. Service conditions means prices for the conditions. We have just entered the service, we have created the service master, but we don't know what is the price the vendor is going to charge. So that service conditions we can create, okay. So to create the service conditions, there are three levels you can create. One is only for a particular service. That means the service can be done from any vendor, okay. For that you will be maintaining the price. Now another one is for the service and vendor combination. That means when you are procuring the service from a particular vendor, you maintain the price, okay. That means when you create a PO for this service and this vendor, only this price will be used. If you create a service PO for a service from other vendor, this price will not be used, okay. Now the next one is for a combination of service, vendor and plant, okay. So when you can create the condition price for this combination also. So there are three levels. Only for service, that means only for service means when you create a PO for this service for any vendor, the same price will be used. Or you can maintain it service and vendor level, combination level, or you can maintain it service and vendor plant combination, okay. According to that, when you create the PO, when you create the PO, system will copy the respective price into the PO, okay. So these are called service conditions. Service conditions are nothing but prices, conditions are nothing but prices, okay. So now here again, so let's first create the conditions, then we will go to the PO structure, okay. So now we created the some activities, services. So for this we will maintain the conditions, okay. So if I go back, okay, so now go to logistics, okay, go to materials management, okay. Here go to service master, okay, go to services, okay. Here you see there is a folder called service conditions. So now if you go here, first for vendor with plant, so if you go inside, the transaction code is ML33. If you go inside, here you see, here you have to maintain purchase organization, vendor and plant. So let's say I'll maintain purchase organization, this one, my vendor is this one, and plant is this one. Now my activity first one is fan servicing, so this one, okay. Enter the activity and you enter some amount, so let's say 1000 euros. So that means system will copy this price to the PO when the PO is created for this vendor into this plant, okay. That means this price is applicable only for this vendor and this plant, not for other ones, okay. Now there is another one, we have machine servicing. So when he does the machine servicing, how much he is going to charge us, let's say 2000 euros. So what I'm trying to say here is these prices, these conditions are applicable only for this vendor and this plant, not for others. So this is how you can maintain. This is for vendor and plant level combination, activity, service, vendor and plant level combination. Anyhow, I'm not saving this, I'll go back, okay. Now the next one is vendor without plant, that means ML39. So here there is no plant. Now when you procure this service from this vendor, whatever may be the plant, this amount will get copied, okay. So what is another one, this one, this is a one, okay, this is a 1000. So this price will be applicable for this servicing from this vendor only, but into any plant, but whatever may be the plant, this price will be used. So that is one level. So we are discussing this one, service and vendor. Now the other one is only service. So whatever may be the plant, whatever may be the vendor, the same price will be used. So you can maintain the price condition set only service level. So anyhow, I'm not saving this. I'm not saving this. Now we will maintain it only service level. So the transaction code here is this one, ML45. So you can maintain for a combination of vendor with plant, only vendor, that means vendor without plant, or only for service, ML45. So now if you see here, nothing is there, no purchase org, no vendor, no plant. So I'll enter the activity, enter the amount. I'll enter the next activity and amount. I entered, enter a currency, unit, euro. Okay, so this is our. So this is our. So here, this price will be applicable for any vendor into any plant. So this level I'm creating ML45. Okay, now I am saving this. I'll save this. So my condition records are saved. Okay, my condition records are saved. So now let's start creating the service PO. So our flow is, first you will create a purchase order. So here it is called service PO. Service PO. Only the difference is you will be using the account assignment category. Already we discussed what is this account assignment category as K, cost center, and item category and item category as service. Yes, so this is what we are going to use. Okay, so before creating it, let's see this one. So this purchasing document will look like this. A purchase order of a service purchase order will look like this. You will have header data, normal header data, and you will have item. You will have item, general description you will give, and again in the item overview you will give the exact description of services, quantity, and conditions and prices. Everything you will give. So that is the structure of a layout or structure of a purchasing document. Okay, so basically you will enter all the services, description of the exact service, quantity, and conditions you will enter. Okay, so now this is how it looks like. This is how it looks like. So in the item details, you will enter all the exact work he is going to do, and even you can add the unplanned services also. Apart from the normal ones is there, you can add the unplanned also. Okay, so now let's create the purchase order. So I'm creating the service purchase order. The first step, create service purchase order. Purchase order. Okay, create service purchase order. So now let's go. Same things, transaction ME21N. ME21N. The transaction code is ME21N. Okay, so I'm giving the vendor. Enter. Okay, purchase organization, purchasing group, company code. I'll give, enter. Okay, so now we are creating a service purchase order. So account assignment category should be K, cost center. Cost center, and item category is service, D. It should be D. Sorry, I mentioned here yes, some. Sorry, it is D. It is D. Item category should be D. Okay, so enter. Now first you enter the short description. I want, what do you call, electrical service to be done. In my company, some electrical services to be done into the plant 1000. Done, entered. So then the moment you enter that, system is asking either to maintain services or limits. Maintain the services or limits. So if you see, now there is a button called here services. There is a tab. There is a tab called services. So go to that tab. Here you will enter the services numbers. So as a part of electrical service, the vendor should do my fan servicing and my machine servicing, but he will do only electrical related servicing, not others. So now you enter the activity number. Here you enter the activity number. The moment you enter and the quantity, now you see what will happen the moment I enter. Okay, it is asking to enter the cost center. Okay, I'll enter the cost center, not a problem. See, the moment I enter service number, system has picked up automatically the price. The price from where it has picked up? It has picked up from conditions, service conditions. It has picked up automatically. Now I am entering the next condition. Next one, next service number. Okay, quantity 1. Enter. It will ask for the cost center. Okay, continue. See, now it has picked up the price from the conditions. So this is how. So here we will be maintaining under the electrical service, exactly what activities you are going to do, he's going to do, that you can put it over here. That's what. So the prerequisite is this service should be get created in the system already. So done. You have created all the service this thing, all we have entered all the details. Check once. Okay, everything is okay. Now save the purchase order. Now we are saving the purchase order. So purchase order is created. This is a service PO. This is called service PO. Okay, so the service PO is created. Now let me enter here, or let me remove this. Okay, I'll enter the purchase order number. So this is our purchase order number. Okay, so we created a purchase order. So once this purchase order is issued to the supplier, so supplier will come and do the servicing. He will do the servicing. Once he do the servicing, we will do the service entry here. Okay, here we will do the service entry. The first step is one of the person will go to the system and he will enter the service entry. That means services has been done. Okay, now after that the services entry sheet will get accepted by your manager. This can be done in a single step, or this can be done as a separate steps also. Okay, that can be done in two separate steps. Okay, but before that, the PO, just 1 minute, I have to make some changes. Let's take this PO. Let's take this PO. I'll go to change mode. Okay, go to change mode. I have to, in the item details, just 1 minute. Delivery account assignment, conditions, delivery schedule, delivery. Oh, I'll activate service-based invoice verification. This we need to activate. Service-based invoice verification. Okay, I activated it. So now, once the services are done by the vendor supplier, they will enter the service entry. They will do the service entry. Okay, so the transaction code is ML81N. ML81N. This is a transaction code for the services entry. So let's go and do the services entry. Okay, so go back. The transaction code is ML81N. So this is the screen you are getting. Okay, so what you need to do is click on the button create entry sheet. Click on the button entry sheet. Okay, sorry, just to go back. Okay, create service entry sheet. It is taking from the next previous one. Just 1 minute down. Okay, click on from other purchase order, enter your purchase order number. Okay, enter the purchase order number, just click on the button continue. Okay, so you got it. Now after entering the purchase order, just click on create entry sheet. So create entry sheet. So now here write down the short text, service entry for fan and machine servicing. Servicing. Okay, servicing. So you write down here short text. Okay, now we need to select the 21529. So now once that is entered, you see on the down there is a button services selection. There is a button services selection. So you click on that button. So you will be selecting the services from our PO. So you will get this pop-up box. Here the PO it will show. Just click on the button continue. Now it will show, see, system has picked up all the services from the PO. In the purchase order, we entered these services. Now select the services. Okay, just click on the button adopt services. So services got adopted here. Okay, now as of now, the current status is no acceptance. Current status is no acceptance. Just we are creating a service entry, that's all. We are entering into the system is services has been done. But acceptance or rejection, we can do as a separate step. So now you just click on the button save. Now system will create the service entry sheet. So this is a service entry sheet number. Okay, now this you can see it in the purchase order. So if you go to our purchase order, ME23N, our display purchase order. If you go to our purchase order, if you go to the purchase order history, see Now the service entry, you can see it here. Service entry document number, you can see it. So now we have entered only service entry. Now somebody needs to accept it. When they accept it, the color will change to green. The color will change to green. So I'll change the color. So now we will do the service entry acceptance. So here you have to do the service entry acceptance. Okay, just 1 minute. Huh? Okay, so here what you have to do, go to change mode. Here you go to change mode. Okay, so now once you go to change mode, here you see there is a button, flag button. So with this flag button, you will accept the services. You will accept the services. Just click on the button accept. Okay, will be accepted. When you save it, the color will change to green. So now save it. So now service entry is accepted. Okay, see the color has been changed to green, and there will be a accounting document will get posted. Okay, so now again you can see it in the purchase order. So if you go to the purchase order, ME23M, you can see that. See service entry documents, you can see it here. Acceptance documents. Okay, so that is what will happen. So here instead of MIGO receiving the material, you do the service entry. Service entry you will do. Okay, so after this service entry has been done, you will do the invoice verification. So normal your invoice verification you will do. Okay, this one, invoice verification. So let's do the invoice verification. The transaction code is same, Miro. So take the PO. So now do the invoice verification. Migo, MIGO, Migo. Sorry, Miro. Sorry, Miro, MIRO, Miro. Okay, so enter incoming invoice. Enter the date. Today date is 18/07/2018. Enter the date. Okay, now enter your purchase order number. Enter the purchase order number. Just click on the button. Enter. See, system has picked up two services from the PO, fan service, machine service. Now you enter the amount here. Amount is 3000. I'm going to pay. It is asking baseline date. Baseline date. Let me enter today's date. Done. Okay. Now the amount has become zero. Balance has become zero. Done. I'll remove the tax amount also. Okay. So now I'll post the invoice. Okay. So invoice document also posted. Invoice verification. So invoice posting has been done. So now if you go to the PO, in the PO you can see that invoice verification details. Okay, see invoice receipt also you can see it in the PO. So the PO history will be get updated with all the necessary activities you do. Okay, so this is the invoice verification for the entry sheet. Okay, so this is about your what do you call procurement of external services. Okay, so this is all about external procurement of services.